What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over Cbums, one of Cbum's many leg days that he has posted to his channel. I believe this was a leg day posted prior to him winning his 6th Olympia title. So I'm going to be going over it. Obviously, take everything I say with a grain of salt because I'm a 16-year-old idiot on YouTube who has no followers and doesn't know what he's doing. But using my knowledge with what I've learned through my past 2 years, almost 3 years now, of working out and being in fitness, kind of, I'm going to be critiquing Cbum. Obviously, Cbum's the GOAT. He's way better than I could ever be, or pretty much everyone on this freaking planet. So anything I say, no disrespect to him. Guy's a fantastic athlete. Freaking love him. I even got his merch. It's over there, though. It's in my drawers. I don't really want to grab it right now. But you probably seen me wear it in previous videos. So we're going to be reacting to him today, telling you what he does really well and maybe what he could change up or improve on. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so first exercise, he's starting with the lying leg curl, and he's using really good control. He's pausing a little bit at the bottom, controlling the eccentric. Nothing to really say about that. He's doing an excellent job, really strict, under control. The only thing I will say, for me anyway, and this is just from based off of what obviously I don't know how his body works or whatever, but for me, I always like to start off with the hardest exercises first because that's where you have the most energy. So like on a leg day for me, I would always start with like my squatting movement or like some kind of RDL, probably the squat, because that's like the most compounding movement. You're going to be engaging the most muscles, you're going to be pushing the hardest, so you want to have the most energy for that exercise. Now he's starting on lying leg curls, which it's only working the hamstrings, so you don't need as much energy to do that. So for me, I would have that later in the workout, but if hamstrings are like a weak point for you, or you just want to focus on them a little bit more, I think starting with hamstrings is a really good idea. And also, I know if a lot of people, some people have bad knees. I'm sure, I think Cbum has injured his knees before or whatever. I'm not 100% sure, but if you do have bad knees, it can help warm up those knees for your squats you're going to do later. So definitely something to try, but for me personally, I always just like, warming up on squats because you're going to be hitting everything. So I'll do like 2 or 3 warm-up sets of that, and then I get into my heavier lifts on the squat.
Second last properly heavy leg day. It's hamstring dominant, not quads, so nothing crazy, but still, I'm trying to keep the weights up heavy today, not be a skinny bitch.
All right, so he's kind of, the way he's split up his leg days is so right here anyway, he's doing a hamstring dominant leg day. So then I presume on his next leg day of the week, he would do a more quad focused leg day. Personally, for me, I don't like that. I prefer hitting, like, I do 14 sets for my quads and hamstrings and glutes every week. So I'll do 7 sets for my quads and 7 sets for my hamstrings and 7 sets for my glutes on one day, and then the next day I'll also do 7 sets for those. So what he's probably doing is I'm basically assuming this, but he's probably doing, like, let's say in my example, he would do 10 sets of hamstrings on that day, and then like 3 sets of quads, and then on the next leg day he would do 3 sets of hamstrings and 10 sets of quads. I think it's better to split it up more evenly. Now, obviously, maybe when you get to such an advanced level as like Cbum is. Maybe the rules change a little bit. I don't really know. But for me anyway, and I think for most people, it's best to evenly spread out your your sets across the week, just so you can recover optimally from each workout. Because if you have a one day where it's like a lot of sets for one body part, it might be super sore after. Whereas if you spread it out more, they may not be even sore at all after each workout, so you can just recover better. And soreness, if you're not getting sore, that's also okay. It doesn't mean you didn't have a good workout. So next exercise on the menu for Mr. Cbum, RDLs. In my opinion, I think it's the best compound way to hit your hamstrings, because you're going to hit your glutes as well. So nothing wrong with this here. He's got a slow, controlled, eccentric. He's pausing a little bit at the bottom. The only thing maybe I would say is he seems to be bending his knees a little bit more than I like, for me personally. But if he doesn't have the flexibility for it, then you can bend your knees a little bit more. But the more you bend your knees, the less stretch you're going to get on your hamstrings. So in reality, you want them as straight as possible, but obviously a slight knee bend is, necessary. I think I always use a slight knee bend anyway. I wouldn't have my legs completely locking out, but other than that, I think it's great. It's going to hit his hamstrings and his glutes really freaking hard. He's using dumbbells. I believe he was using straps. I actually don't remember. I have to look back at the video, but I believe he was using straps, which is also good. Don't be afraid to use freaking straps if your grip is going to be a limiting factor. You don't want your grip to be the reason why your hamstrings aren't getting fucking massive. Yeah, he does seem to be bending his knees quite a lot, which will reduce the stretch you get to your hamstrings. So you kind of have to find that balance of just the right amount of knee bend for you, where it feels comfortable, but where you can also get a really deep stretch. For me, I only here, I'll show you guys right here. When I do it, my hamstrings are still freaking sore from my last workout. I'll probably do it like this. That's about the most knee bend I'll do, and I'll come all the way down like that. So a little bit of knee bend. For me anyway, I think it's good, but you got to find that balance to where it feels comfortable for you. So as little knee bend as possible, basically. Alright, so for me, the leg press next exercise could be better. He's kind of going halfway down, he's just breaking parallel. And he also, another thing he's doing is he's putting his feet really high on the platform. Now that's going to engage the glutes and hamstrings more than the quads, but I feel like most people on leg press, you're really trying to hit those quads. So you'll get a lot more knee flexion if you place your feet as low as comfortable on the pad, and you'll heavily benefit to going past parallel. When you raise your feet up, it makes it, you're getting a lot more hip flexion than you are going to get knee flexion, so you can't go as low. So what I would like for Mr. Cbum to do is probably put his feet quite a bit lower on the platform. Not too low where when you come down, your heels start to come off the pad there, or whatever, the steel plate. You definitely want to have your heels, and you want to make sure that your butt is also staying on the seat, because if your lower back starts to round, that's where we get problems. So really pin yourself down there, and definitely would like to see him get more knee flexion. If you've seen me pendulum squat, you know how much freaking knee flexion I get. A cue for me is hamstrings to calves. They should be touching like that, kind of. Maybe even a little bit more when I'm on the squat. But, you know, as low as comfortable. Now, obviously, he might have some injuries with his knee or whatever that I'm not aware about. But for the vast majority of you, definitely, I'm telling you, going deeper in a leg press or in a squat is going to get you more gains. Yeah, so seated hamstring curl. He's probably rushing that eccentric a little bit too fast for my liking there. I think he had it really good on the lying leg curl. On the seated, it looked like, I don't know if maybe that was just because it was like the end of a set or whatever, but it definitely looked like he was kind of just letting the weight free fall a little bit. There was definitely still some control, but I would personally like to see a little bit more control on the eccentric on that one. And then he's doing glute ham raises on top of the seated leg curl for his hamstrings. Holy shit. This guy's okay. Now, for the vast majority of you, I would definitely not recommend you copy this workout unless you are as advanced as Mr. Cbum here, because 4 exercises and then a hamstring biased leg press for the his hamstrings and glutes after this are going to be freaking be on fire the next day. Or maybe not for him, because he is such, again, maybe the rules change a little bit for him. He's such an advanced lifter. He's not, obviously not natural, and he's like the best athlete in the world, so maybe he can get away with this. But I just want to say, for the vast majority of you, if you try and do this much volume for your hamstrings, I do 7 sets in a workout for my hamstrings, and they are freaking sore. Yesterday, trained legs, what's sore right now? My freaking hamstrings, bro. Like, I can barely walk. I'm like an old grandpa, and I only did 7 freaking sets. I'm sure he's doing upwards of like 15 here. So definitely, if you're gonna try out this workout, definitely only do like 1 or 2 sets per exercise, or else you're not gonna be able to get out of bed the next day. Okay, and then he's back on seated leg curls. So maybe he's like kind of alternating between the two. I'm not really too sure. He does actually seem to be using a little bit better control. Now, what I would also say for Mr. Cbum here, and this is, what he was doing wasn't bad. I'm just saying there might be a better way of doing it. When I do seated leg curls, I kind of like to lean over the platform. That's going to get you more stretch on your hamstrings. Now, if that doesn't feel comfortable or you don't feel stable in the machine, definitely I would recommend stability and feeling comfortable in the movement over that little bit extra stretch you're going to get. Because when you do the seated leg curl and you lean over the machine, it's almost like you're trying to touch your toes because you're bending at your hips. So just a critique to, you know, for maybe you to try out. Personally, I do all my seated leg curls like that, and it feels good. I feel stable, locked in. So, you know, you guys can play around with it. Try it if you want. If you don't like it, just go back to doing it the way you were doing it before. Okay, and then he's doing a little bit more glute work. Looks fine. Nothing really to say there. You know, other than the fact that the volume is freaking ridiculous. But of course, Cbum, elite level genetics, elite level athlete. He can do all that volume, and it probably all goes to freaking building muscle, because that's what you're trying to do when you're in the freaking gym. And I just want to state this, that what he's doing in this video is freaking ridiculous. None of you guys could do this, or not even me. I can't freaking do that. Am I crazy? He's dieting at this point, and he's doing so much volume. He must be in the gym for 2 to 3 hours, and then not to mention all the cardio he has to do. He must be working out like 5 hours a day. Like, that is freaking mad. And when you have like no energy, that is mad, bro. Mad respect to Cbum for that. Jesus. All right, and that was pretty much the end of his workout. So he just wrapped it up on the calves. One thing I will mention about the calves, not really a critique on his form, again, just a different way of doing things. There's been many studies on the calves, and they are stubborn as shit. If you look at my calves, you can't even freaking see them. Look, they're like non-existent. You need a freaking microscope to see that shit. So you can't freaking see my calves, but research shows that there may be a better way of training them by only doing lengthened partials on the calves, because let's be honest, the calves, like for some people, they're just a freaking bitch. They just don't want to grow. So maybe by doing these lengthened partials, personally when I do calves, I always do lengthened partials. So maybe some research supports that doing lengthened partials rather than the full ROM, especially on calves, can be very beneficial for them. Now again, if you don't like it, no need to do that. Personally for me, I like to do that, and you get to lift a lot more weight. But you're always controlling that negative, which he did pretty well there. And I also like the fact that he's doing a calf exercise with a straight knee. The seated calf raise, in my opinion, in 2025 is in fact vaulted, because when you bend your knee, you're drastically reducing the stretch on your calves, and the muscle that people try and target with seated calf raises, the soleus, responds really poorly to any freaking high reps, low reps, any muscle growth whatsoever. So you're much better off just using a straight knee and getting more stretch and targeting the gastroc a lot more. So overall, Cbum, you're going to get a 9 out of 10 on the Burly Boy scale for training. Basically, no one can get a 10 out of 10 because that's ridiculous. 9 out of 10, bro. That is A freaking plus work. And I just want to point out, when I train, I probably get a 7 out of 10. So, you know, I try my best. You know, maybe every now and again I'll screech into the 8. But Cbum's definitely doing better than me and better than a lot of freaking people. And hey, see, he gets a 9 out of 10. Not ego lifting. And just coincidentally, he's arguably has the best physique in the entire world. So that's my rating of Cbum. Again, Cbum, amazing guy, amazing inspiration for everyone, including myself. Freaking love you, fellow Canadian. But that is going to have to wrap up this video. So if you guys have enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new here. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.